Alright guys, back again here with this sketch constraints, and what I'm gonna do is reactivate this sketch now. So you can select it out of the screen and it comes back into the sketch mode. And we got 30 constraints where we left it before. So you can see I can move this, and you can see that there is some discrepancy here. There is a piece of geometry that is not fully constrained. So what we're gonna have to do is be sure that we have those 2 points coincident with each other on tangent. So we go tangency. We're gonna select this arc again here and select the line, and also establish a tangency. Gonna do the same thing with these points here, this particular line. So we gotta carefully select the endpoint, and make it coincident with each other. Do the same thing with the endpoint of the arc and the endpoint of the line, make it coincident. And be sure that the arc and these lines are tangent to each other. And this arc and the line, so it's not good, so we're going to select it again. It's very sensitive, it makes a big difference where you select. Now you can establish tangency. And now what we have to do is take this point, and we're gonna probably zoom in a little bit here, make it easier. So that you grab the endpoint of the line and select the endpoint of that and make it coincident with each other. So we're down to 20 constraints. And what we're going to start doing here now is we can move the geometry slightly so we can check to be sure that everything is constrained. Oh, there's a little boo-boo here. See, things are not correct there. So this is a way that you can check what's going on in terms of the constraints. So it looks like this line here and these are not tied together. So what we need to do is be sure that we establish a geometrical constraint between this piece of geometry, between this arc, and we gotta carefully select, be sure that it selects the arc. You keep getting the circle when I select it. You gotta wait for the little 3 dots so you can select the arc and then select the line. And it's not tangency. What I'm shooting for is basically I need to make those 2 points coincident with each other. So I got it selected there. Carefully be sure that I select the endpoint and approximate here to be sure that I get the endpoint of the line and then coincident. If we don't select in the right location, we do not get the same geometrical constraints that we are shooting for. Okay, so again, we're gonna move it here slightly to be sure that the geometry is tied together. This is a way of checking things. Before we move forward, we gotta be sure that everything is connected. Everything has to be associative to each other. We're gonna move into displaying some dimensional constraints. So we select that line. On the dimensional constraints, we can apply a value. We can establish a value in that direction as well. We can leave the method infer value of 40. We can put a value of 41 here between the line, and we're going to create a dimension of 8 right here. That's what we need to place. And shrink this a little bit now so we can have better. We're gonna try to put a line dimension on an angle, but notice that here there is not options for a line at an angle under linear dimension. So we need to do is close and go back here to the option for angular dimension. Select angular dimension, select that line, select the other line to establish a relationship, and we enter the value of 45. Close that, and gonna move into a fit here for right now. We're gonna kind of move all the geometry here so the dimensions will not stay behind. That's the reason why I want to move it early, so we get close to what we're gonna fully constrain the sketch close to the axis. So in that way we only move a few dimensions and they don't get all distorted by being so far away. So kind of rearranging my dimensions. I'm gonna do a fit and I'm gonna do an F8 so it straightens them up. And in that way it makes my life much easier for later on. So we have established a relationship between these two lines. We're gonna make it equal length. So the equal symbol here between those two lines. We had 12 constraints to go. We're gonna continue applying geometrical and dimensional constraints. So let's move here into linear dimension. We're going to establish a relationship between these two lines, make that a 50. Between this line and look for tangency here, so we got to wait a couple seconds until this plates. Enter that a value of 40. I'm going to put a dimension here, leave it under infer, between this line and this point, which is the center of the arc at the bottom. I'll make that a value of 111. And see the two arcs right now. They are kind of a little out of proportion, so we want to be sure that they are. We have to get a little bit closer. I'm having a little difficulty here, but just because of my spaceball. If I select those two arcs, and I did not select it in the right spot, select it again. Be sure that I select the arc and select it again slowly. I'll make it concentric. Do a fit. We got 7 constraints to go. So we're gonna apply a few more dimensional constraints. We go and put a radial dimension here for the bottom arc, and that should be a value of 70. We got 6 constraints to go. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the center point of one arc, be sure that it highlights the center point of the other arc. We're gonna make it coincident with each other. And we're down to 6 constraints. Okay, so put a radial dimension here, and that should be a value of 52 for the arc. The sketch needs 5 constraints for right now, and I believe we're running out of time here, so need 5 constraints to go. Let's see if we can go another geometrical constraint here. Make collinear, so we're gonna make this collinear so we position the sketch and in one direction. Select the horizontal and the axis. Also make it collinear, and we have 3 constraints. So I'm gonna close this for right now, and running out of time here for this section. Kind of arrange this dimension slightly so the sketch would be more organized and make things much easier later. So let's finish the sketch for right now and do a fade and stop for right now.